Number 31. The state Kansas is actually flatter than a pancake. Scientists actually tested it. They compared a pancake's surface to Kansas, and Kansas was flatter. Not completely flat everywhere, but if you zoom out, it's smoother than breakfast food. Cows outnumber people in some states. In South Dakota, for example, there are about 4 cows for every person. Rhode Island, the smallest state, could fit into Alaska over 420 times. Rhode Island is tiny, and Alaska is huge. You could fit 420 Rhode Islands inside Alaska's borders. Maine is the closest state to Africa. A tiny part of Maine sticks out so far into the ocean that it's actually closer to Africa than Florida is. If you went straight east from there, you'd hit Morocco faster than from Florida. The southernmost point of the US isn't in Florida at all. It's in Hawaii. Florida's pretty far south, but Hawaii goes even farther. On the Big Island, there's a place called Calais. That's the southernmost point in the whole USA, and it's closer to the equator than any other state. A chunk of Minnesota is only reachable through Canada. There's a part of Minnesota at the very top called the Northwest Angle. It's cut off by a lake, so to get there, you have to drive through Canada and then back down. Even the kids there go through Canada to get to school. You can see Russia from the USA. There are 2 tiny islands, one in Alaska, one in Russia, just 2.5 miles apart. You can literally look across the water and see another country. And the craziest part? Russia's island is almost a day ahead in time because the international date line goes right between them. The United States has every kind of climate in the world: tropical rainforests in Hawaii, freezing tundra in Alaska, deserts, rainy forests, prairies, you name it. The US got it all. There's a library straddling the US-Canada border. The Haskell Free Library sits right on the line between Vermont and Quebec. Half is in the US, half in Canada. You can enter from one country and leave through the other. Inside, there's even a line on the floor showing the border. Alaska's coastline is longer than all other 49 states combined. Alaska has about 6,640 miles of coast, and over 33,000 miles if you count all the bays and inlets. That's more seaside than the entire rest of the country put together. A piece of Kentucky is trapped inside Tennessee. In the far southwest corner of Kentucky, there's an odd oval-shaped land called the Kentucky Bend, or Bubble Land. It's cut off from the rest of Kentucky by the Mississippi River. The only way for the dozen or so residents to reach other parts of Kentucky by land is to go through Tennessee. They even have Tennessee mailing addresses since they rely on Tennessee for access. A part of Washington state sits in Canada. Point Roberts is a little peninsula at the tip of Canada's British Columbia. It belongs to the US, but it's below the Canadian borderline, so it's isolated. To visit Point Roberts by land, you must drive down from Canada because it's not connected to Washington's main landmass. It's a strange little American exclave surrounded by Canada and water. Hawaii has interstate highways with nowhere to drive out of state. Yes, Hawaii, an island state, has highways called interstates. You can't drive to any other state from Hawaii, it's all by itself in the ocean. So it seems funny to have interstates. They exist for federal funding and connect major parts of the islands, but they don't leave Hawaii. Alaska has over 3 million lakes. Yes, millions. While Minnesota is called the land of 10,000 lakes, Alaska has way more, over 3 million. Some are small tundra ponds, some are huge. If you visited one lake every day, it would take you thousands of years to see them all. Texas has only one natural lake. Despite Texas's giant size, almost all of its lakes are man-made reservoirs. The only naturally formed lake of any size is Caddo Lake, which Texas shares with Louisiana. Maryland has 0 natural lakes. Surprisingly, every lake in Maryland is man-made. They were created by dams or digging. Maryland is the only state where all the lakes you see on a map were built by people, not nature. Lake Superior is huge enough to cover a continent in water. It's the largest Great Lake by volume. Lake Superior holds so much water that it could cover all of North and South America under 1 foot of water. You can dig for diamonds in Arkansas. Arkansas is home to Craters of Diamonds State Park, the only diamond mine in the world open to the public. Anyone can go mining and keep any diamond they find. People have discovered some large diamonds there just by digging in the dirt. Landlocked Wyoming has over 30 islands. Wyoming is nowhere near an ocean, but it still has many islands in its lakes. Yellowstone Lake and Jackson Lake in Wyoming contain dozens of named islands, so even a state with no seacoast can have islands of its own. The smallest town in the US has a population of 1. Monowai, Nebraska, is an incorporated town with exactly 1 resident. It's just a lady named Elsie, who's the mayor, librarian, and bartender all by herself. She pays taxes to herself and is the only person living in the whole town. The Statue of Liberty's island is in a different state's waters. Liberty Island, where the Statue of Liberty stands, is officially part of New York, but it's surrounded by the waters of New Jersey. This means when you take a ferry to visit the statue, you're crossing a state line. Two states, New York and New Jersey, both lay claim to Liberty Island in different ways, which has caused friendly quarrels over who can put it on their state quarter or license plates. Tennessee and Missouri each border 8 other states, the most neighbors of all. If you look at a map, Tennessee and Missouri touch more states than any others. Tennessee borders Kentucky, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Missouri, 8 states. And Missouri touches Iowa, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska, also 8 states. Part of California is below sea level. Death Valley, the lowest point in North America, at 282 feet below sea level. It's a scorching desert depression. If you put a giant tube from the ocean to Death Valley, water would flow inland and fill it up to sea level. It snows in Hawaii. Hawaii is warm and tropical at the beaches, but its tallest mountains like Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa are so high that they get snow. In winter, the tops of these volcanoes are often white with snow, even while surfers enjoy warm waves down below. The entire state of Wyoming has only 2 escalators. Believe it or not, there are only 2 public escalators in all of Wyoming. Both are in the city of Casper, inside Banks. Wyoming is a big state in size, but it has a small population and mostly 2-story buildings, so they never needed many escalators. One state has a perfectly round border. The top part of Delaware is a curve called the 12-mile circle. It's a nearly perfect arc border between Delaware and Pennsylvania, drawn with a radius of 12 miles from a courthouse in Newcastle, Delaware. This is very unusual. Most state borders are straight lines or follow natural features, but Delaware's northern border is a big curve. Alaska has sand dunes like a desert. In Alaska's Kobuk Valley National Park, there are large sand dunes, some up to 100 feet tall, that look like a slice of the Sahara plopped into the Arctic. In winter, they even get covered in snow. The world's tallest tree lives in California, a giant redwood tree named Hyperion, in California's Redwood National Park, stands about 116 meters tall. That's taller than the Statue of Liberty. These redwood trees are so high that if you look up, you can barely see the top. Hyperion's exact spot is kept secret to protect it, but it's the tallest known tree on Earth, right here in the US. The capital of Vermont has no McDonald's. Montpelier, Vermont, the smallest state capital, is the only US capital city without a single McDonald's restaurant. Montpelier is a tiny capital with a population under 8,000 people, so they just never got one. Most of America's volcanoes are in Alaska. The US has around 170 active volcanoes, and Alaska has about 130 of them. Many of Alaska's volcanoes are along the Aleutian Islands and erupt every so often, usually in remote areas. While Hawaii and the Pacific Northwest have famous volcanoes, Alaska is the volcano champion of the US by sheer number.
There's literally an ocean buried inside Texas. A real ocean, 250 million years old. Most Texans have never heard of it. That's just one fact. Texas is hiding 24 more secrets just like this. Islands that move, cities sinking into the ground, rivers that disappear before reaching the ocean. Things happening right now that nobody talks about. Today, we're exposing all 25.
Fact 25. Texas is bigger than France, Germany, and the UK, 268,000 square miles. You could fit 15 states the size of Massachusetts inside it. Driving from El Paso to Texarkana is 817 miles. That's farther than New York to Chicago. You can drive 12 hours and never leave Texas. Fact 24. Texas contains 4 completely different climate zones: desert, subtropical, continental, mountain. You can drive through all of them in one day. Snow in the Panhandle, beach weather in Galveston. Same state, same day. It's like driving through 4 different countries. Fact 23. The Chihuahuan Desert sits inside Texas, North America's largest desert, 140,000 square miles. Most people think it's in Mexico. It's mostly in Texas and New Mexico. Bigger than the Mojave, bigger than the Sonoran. West Texas is pure desert. Fact 22. Padre Island is the longest barrier island on Earth. 113 miles of unbroken sand, entirely inside Texas. Longer than any barrier island in Australia or Europe. It stretches from Corpus Christi almost to Mexico. No roads cross most of it. Just sand and ocean. Fact 21. Texas gets more tornadoes than any country on Earth. Not any state, any country. Average 155 per year. More than Canada, more than Australia, more than anywhere. The entire northern third of Texas sits in Tornado Alley. Spring brings rotating storms almost weekly. Fact 20. Palo Duro Canyon is the second largest canyon in America, 120 miles long, 800 feet deep. Almost nobody outside Texas has heard of it. The Grand Canyon gets millions of visitors. Palo Duro gets a few 100,000. It's hiding in the Panhandle, red rock walls, completely invisible until you're standing at the edge. Fact 19. The Llano Estacado Plateau is 33,000 square miles of completely flat land, flat as a tabletop, for 250 miles. You can see the curvature of the earth standing on it. No hills, no valleys, nothing, just flat. Early Spanish explorers called it the Sea of Grass because it looked like an ocean. Fact 18. Guadalupe Peak is the highest point in Texas, 8,749 feet, hidden inside what most people think is flat desert. You can't see it from the highway. Most Texans have never seen it. It's in the middle of nowhere. West Texas desert suddenly rises into mountains. But these facts were the obvious ones. What's coming next is what Texas doesn't put in geography textbooks. Fact 17. The Ogallala Aquifer runs under the Texas Panhandle, underground lake. It's draining. Farmers pump out water faster than rain refills it. This aquifer grows food for 1 in 5 Americans. When it's gone, Texas farming collapses. It's already half empty. Some parts have dropped 300 feet. Fact 16. The Edwards Aquifer is the only water source for San Antonio. Over 2 million people. 1 underground reservoir. No backup plan. If it fails, the city has no water. No rivers feed it. No lakes supply it. Just underground water. Fact 15. The hill country sits on hollow limestone. The technical term is karst. That means the ground is full of gaps, tunnels, and empty space. Swiss cheese made of rock. Roads collapse into sinkholes without warning. Entire caves run underneath neighborhoods. You're driving over hollow ground. Fact 14. Parts of Houston have sunk 10 feet in the last 100 years. The city sits on ground that compresses under its own weight. Pumping out underground water makes it worse. Neighborhoods flood because the land dropped, not because the rain got worse. The ground is literally sinking. Subsidence. Fact 13. America's emergency oil supply is stored in underground salt domes across East Texas. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve. 727 million barrels. The ground is the vault. Salt domes are naturally waterproof. Carved out caverns hundreds of feet deep. Oil stored in the earth itself. Fact 12. The Balcones Escarpment is a hidden fault line. Runs right through the most populated part of Texas. Austin, San Antonio, Waco. All built along a crack in the earth. It's not as active as California's faults, but it's there. A geological fracture running through central Texas. Fact 11. Springs that flowed for over 10,000 years have gone dry in the last 50. Comanche Springs. Flowed since the Ice Age. Stopped in the 1960s. Gone. Pumping groundwater killed them. Water that flowed for 10,000 years. Disappeared in 1 generation. Fact 10. The Rio Grande stops reaching the Gulf of Mexico in drought years. Texas's entire southern border. The river runs dry before it gets to the ocean. Just stops. Turns to sand. A riverbed with no water. The border becomes a ditch. Fact 9. Texas sits over 3 separate tectonic stress zones. The ground is not as still as it looks. Pressure building. Slow. Constant. Minor earthquakes happen in West Texas. Most people don't notice, but the pressure is there. Here are the last 8 facts. These are the facts that change the entire picture of what Texas actually is. Fact 8. The Texas Gulf Coast is eroding at up to 20 feet per year in some areas. The land is physically shrinking, beaches disappearing, houses falling into the ocean. Not in 100 years. Now. The coastline is eating itself. Fact 7. Galveston Island is sinking. Land subsidence. The ground compresses. Add rising sea levels. The math is not good. Galveston floods more every year. Eventually, the island goes under. Not if, when. Fact 6. Padre Island is migrating. The longest barrier island on Earth. It's moving westward. Barrier islands don't stay still. They shift with currents and storms. The island you see today won't be there in 100 years. Fact 5. San Solomon Springs fed a desert oasis in West Texas for over 11,000 years, since the Ice Age. In the 1990s, they almost went completely dry for the first time. Pumping groundwater killed them, an 11,000-year-old water source, nearly gone in 1 human lifetime. Now they flow weakly, barely.
Fact 4. The Llano Estacado Aquifer could be functionally empty within 30 years, the water source for the entire Texas Panhandle. Current usage rate makes it unsustainable. 30 years, then it's gone. The Panhandle goes dry. Permanently. Fact 3. The Lost Pines of Bastrop are a forest that exists 100 miles from where forests should be, an isolated pocket of trees, cut off from the main pine belt by geography. They're burning more frequently every decade. Wildfires, drought, climate stress. The lost pines might actually be lost soon. Fact 2. The Brazos River carries more sediment per unit of water than the Mississippi, one of the most sediment-loaded rivers in North America. Sediment means dirt, sand, and rock particles. The river is thick with it, quietly. Most people don't even notice. Fact 1. Jefferson, Texas was once a major port city. Steamboats, trade, thousands of people. Then the water level dropped. The river that fed it shrank. The port disappeared. The city nearly did too. A port city, in the middle of East Texas, now landlocked, miles from navigable water. The truth. Texas isn't just the biggest state, it's one of the most geographically extreme places in America, and one of the most geographically at risk. Cities sinking, rivers disappearing. Most of what's happening is invisible, until it's not. There is a river in Ohio that caught fire, not once, 13 times. There is a hidden circle around an Ohio city that captures half of America's entire population. No other city on Earth can do that. And how Ohio is the only state in the country where you can experience 3 seasons in a single day. We're covering 25 facts like these, and number 1 will genuinely shock you. Fact 1. Draw a 500-mile circle around Columbus, Ohio. That circle contains half of America's entire population. 160 million people within 500 miles. No other city comes close to this. New York doesn't have it, Chicago doesn't have it, Los Angeles doesn't have it. This is why Ohio decides presidential elections. Geography made it inevitable. Fact 2. Ohio touches 5 different states plus Lake Erie, all at the same time. Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana, Michigan, and the Great Lake. No other state has this exact combination. 6 borders total. Fact 3. The Ohio River forms Ohio's entire southern border, 452 miles long, every single inch of it. It was the line between slavery and freedom. North of the river meant free states. South of the river meant slave states. The river was the literal border between 2 Americas. Fact 4. The Ohio River sits lower than Lake Erie's surface. 455 feet elevation at the river, 570 feet elevation at the lake. Most people guess the opposite. The river is 115 feet lower than the lake. Water doesn't flow the way people think it does. Fact 5. Ohio is the only U.S. state with a non-rectangular flag, a swallowtail pennant design. Every other state in America has a rectangle. Ohio's flag has 17 stars on it, because Ohio was the 17th state admitted to the Union. But the surface isn't Ohio's strangest geography. What's underground is even more extreme. Fact 6. Salt mines sit 1,800 feet beneath Lake Erie, 12 to 16 square miles of tunnels down there. The salt formed 400 million years ago. You can drive full-size trucks underground beneath the lake. People work down there every single day, mining salt underwater. Fact 7. Ohio was once the floor of a tropical ocean. Warm, shallow water covered the entire state. Marine life everywhere for millions of years. Shark teeth are found in Ohio limestone today. Coral fossils too, in the middle of the Midwest. An ocean that existed 350 million years ago. Fact 8. America's first offshore oil wells were in Ohio, not Louisiana, not Texas. 1887 in Grand Lake, St. Mary's. A storm flooded the wells on shore. Drillers built wooden platforms on the water, kept drilling from the platforms. 20 years before Louisiana did the same thing. Fact 9. The Serpent Mound is 1,348 feet long, largest effigy mound on Earth. It sits directly on an ancient meteor crater. The crater is 8 miles wide. The serpent's head aligns with the summer solstice sunset. Indigenous builders chose this exact spot deliberately, over 2,000 years ago. Fact 10. Crystal Cave sits on South Bass Island, world's largest geode you can walk inside. Found in 1897 by complete accident. Workers were digging a well under a winery. They broke through into a crystal chamber. Celestite crystals cover every wall, still there today. But underground geology isn't the only thing that defies logic. Fact 11. The Great Black Swamp covered 1,500 square miles, northwest Ohio. Completely impassable terrain for decades. Waist-deep mud everywhere. Mosquito-infested swamp. It stopped U.S. military movement during the War of 1812. Blocked American expansion westward for decades. Entire armies couldn't cross it. Fact 12. That same swamp is now fertile farmland. Some of the most productive farmland in America. Massive 19th century drainage projects transformed it completely. Engineers dug thousands of miles of drainage ditches. Today, that land produces 50 million bushels of soybeans annually. The Army Stopper became America's breadbasket. Fact 13. Ash Cave in Hocking Hills is 700 feet wide, with a 90-foot waterfall inside, less than an hour drive from Columbus. Most people have never heard of it, hidden in the hills of southeast Ohio. Fact 14. Kelly's Island has the largest accessible glacial grooves in the world, carved by glaciers during the last ice age. The grooves are 15 feet deep, 35 feet wide at some points, 400 feet long. You can walk right up to them, on a small island in Lake Erie. Fact 15. The Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, officially designated in 2023, built 2,000 years ago by indigenous peoples. Geometry precise enough to rival modern engineering. The earthworks track an 18.6-year lunar cycle. The Great Pyramid of Giza fits inside one enclosure. Ancient astronomers built this in Ohio. A 2,000-year-old monument tracks the moon with modern precision. Fact 16. Lake Erie is the shallowest of the 5 Great Lakes. The average depth is only 62 feet. Lake Superior averages 483 feet deep, but Erie is the most biologically productive lake. Shallow water warms up faster in summer, supports more fish and more aquatic life. Fact 17. Lake Erie used to freeze completely solid every winter. Ice thick enough to drive trucks across. Climate change has reduced full freeze events to near zero in just the last 2 decades. The same lake behaves fundamentally differently in one human generation. But there is a river in Ohio that caught fire 13 times. The last fire changed federal law forever. Fact 18. The Cuyahoga River caught fire 13 separate times between 1868 and 1969. The river was so polluted it was flammable. Oil and chemicals floating on the surface. The 1969 fire helped create the EPA and the Clean Water Act. A burning river changed federal environmental law. Fact 19. In 1979, Ohio had exactly 4 bald eagle nesting pairs. Just 4 pairs in the entire state. By 2025, there are 964 active nests spread across 87 of Ohio's 88 counties. That's a 24,000% population recovery. The same polluted rivers that burned now support eagles. Fact 20. Cedar Point Amusement Park sits on a narrow peninsula jutting straight into Lake Erie, surrounded by water on 3 sides. The park has 18 roller coasters total. 5 of them are over 200 feet tall. One of the most visited places in Ohio, built on geography that should make construction impossible. But Cedar Point isn't Ohio's most extreme geography. Ohio's temperature swung 152 degrees in 1 century. Fact 21. Ohio's all-time temperature range is 152 degrees Fahrenheit. Record high of 113 degrees Fahrenheit in 1934 near Gallipolis. Record low of minus 39 degrees Fahrenheit in 1899 in Milligan, same state. 152-degree temperature swing. Ohioans say you experience 3 seasons in 1 day. That's not an exaggeration. Fact 22. Ohio has 2 completely different landscapes separated by 1 precise geological line. A glacier covered northern Ohio 12,000 years ago. It stopped at a visible boundary. West of the line is completely flat. East of the line is rolling hills. 2 different worlds in 1 state. You can see the line on any topographic map. Fact 23. Ohio has more named islands than any Great Lakes state. Lake Erie contains 23 islands belonging to Ohio. The Bass Island chain alone has 3 airports. The islands have their own ecosystem, their own wine industry, their own dialect in some communities. They sit in the same lake people think is an industrial shoreline. Fact 24. 25. NASA astronauts came from Ohio, more than any state except California. Neil Armstrong was from Wapakoneta. John Glenn was from Cambridge. The Wright brothers built the first powered aircraft in Dayton. Ohio didn't just send people to space, it invented the technology to get them there. Fact 25. Ohio was not officially a U.S. state until 1953. It claimed statehood in 1803, sent senators to Congress for 150 years, elected presidents, fought in every American war. Then, in 1953, teachers requesting historical documents discovered something. Congress had never formally voted to admit Ohio. President Eisenhower signed the correction retroactively, 150 years late. Ohio is the most average-looking state in America, and that's exactly why it controls everything. Geography forced every major infrastructure route through it. The rivers were the first highways west. The central position made it unavoidable. Ohio isn't powerful because it's extreme. It's powerful because it's inescapable. The most boring-looking state on the map runs the country. If you enjoyed the video,
Chicago literally lifted every building in the city while people lived inside, raised them 14 feet on jacks, built new streets underneath. Engineers in Illinois reversed an entire river, made it flow backward forever. And there are fires burning underground right now. They've been burning for 50 years. Nothing stops them at all. Illinois isn't boring. These are 30 facts that prove it. Number 1 will blow your mind. Fact 30. Chicago was built on a swamp. The entire city sat at lake level. Streets flooded constantly. Sewage mixed with drinking water. In the 1850s, engineers raised the entire city. They lifted buildings 4 to 14 feet, while people still lived inside them. Entire blocks raised on jacks. New foundations built underneath. The old ground level became basements. Chicago literally elevated itself out of the swamp. Fact 29. Illinois has more river miles than Minnesota. Over 87,000 miles of rivers and streams, more than the state famous for lakes. Most of it is hidden in farm country. Fact 28. The Illinois River flows backward during major floods. When the Mississippi River rises too high, it pushes water back upstream. The Illinois River reverses direction, flows north instead of south. This happens every few years. Fact 27. Peoria Lake is slowly disappearing. Dirt and mud fill it up faster than workers can clean it out. The lake gets shallower every 10 years. If this keeps happening, the lake will turn into a swamp in about 100 years. Fact 26. Illinois sits on abandoned coal mines, thousands of them. They're collapsing. Sinkholes appear without warning. Entire neighborhoods built over unstable ground. The mines are too old to map accurately. Nobody knows where all of them are. Fact 25. Chicago's lakefront is entirely artificial. Every beach, every park, every pier built on fill material. The original shoreline sits miles inland now. Grant Park didn't exist before 1871. It was built on debris from the Great Chicago Fire. Fact 24. Illinois has over 2,000 dams. Most are over 50 years old, aging, cracking. The state inspects them slowly. Fact 23. Starved Rock State Park sits in a canyon carved by glacial meltwater. The walls rise 125 feet in the middle of flat Illinois. The canyon shouldn't exist here, but massive flooding from melting ice carved it in days. Not millions of years, days. Fact 22. Illinois has coal fires burning underground. Right now, old mines catch fire. The fires spread through coal seams. They burn for decades. Nothing stops them. The ground above them heats up. Snow melts in winter. Grass dies. The fires keep burning. Fact 21. Central Illinois loses billions of tons of topsoil to erosion annually, washing into rivers. Illinois built its wealth on black soil. That soil is disappearing. Fact 20. Chicago's downtown sits just feet above Lake Michigan. The city was built on naturally low ground. Flooding is a constant threat. The city maintains an extensive pumping system to manage stormwater and prevent flooding. Fact 19. Illinois has 3 nuclear power plants: Braidwood, Byron, and LaSalle stations. The Wabash Valley seismic zone runs through southern Illinois. Earthquakes are possible, though infrequent. The plants meet federal safety standards, but earthquake risk exists. Fact 18. The Mississippi River at Alton reaches depths over 100 feet, one of the deepest sections on the upper Mississippi. The channel was naturally deep, then deepened further for navigation. Ships can pass easily, but the current is strong. Fact 17. Illinois has 28 locks on its rivers. The Mississippi and Illinois rivers combined. Locks are like elevators for boats. Each one raises or lowers ships 20 to 40 feet. If one fails, the entire shipping system backs up. Fact 16. The chain o' lakes connects 10 lakes in northern Illinois. They drain into the Fox River, which connects to the Illinois River, which connects to the Mississippi, which connects to the Gulf of Mexico. You can boat from northern Illinois to the ocean through rivers. Fact 15. In 1992, Chicago's underground freight tunnel system flooded. The tunnels ran under the entire downtown, built in 1906 for coal delivery, abandoned in the 1950s. A construction crew accidentally drilled into one. Lake Michigan water rushed in. 250 million gallons flooded downtown basements. The loop shut down for weeks. Buildings evacuated. Damage exceeded $1 billion. Fact 14. Illinois loses wetlands faster than it restores them. The state has drained wetlands for agriculture. Restoration efforts continue, but the loss rate still exceeds restoration. Fact 13. The Spoon River changes course regularly. It's one of the most unstable rivers in Illinois. Every major flood reshapes it. Farmland on one side becomes riverbed. Riverbed becomes farmland. Property lines shift. Fact 12. Chicago reversed its river in 1900, but the reversal created a pathway. Invasive fish can now swim from the Mississippi toward the Great Lakes through the Chicago River. Asian carp are about 10 miles from the electric barriers. These fish consume massive amounts of food, outcompete native species. If they breach the barriers and reach Lake Michigan, they spread to all 5 Great Lakes. Fact 11. Illinois sits on ancient buried river valleys, hidden under Ice Age deposits. These old rivers carved deep valleys when Illinois was ice-free. Then massive ice sheets covered everything. The old valleys are still there, filled with gravel and sand. Underground water still flows through them. Fact 10. The state capital sits on former coal mining land. Springfield was built over mining areas. Many mines closed in the early 1900s. Some are collapsing now. Parts of Springfield experience subsidence. Buildings crack. Fact 9. Illinois has massive underground salt deposits, miles deep, formed 400 million years ago. When Illinois was underwater, an ancient ocean covered the state. It evaporated, left salt behind. The deposits remain. Fact 8. Illinois soil forms slower than it erodes. Soil forms at roughly 1 ton per acre per century. Some areas lose 5 tons per acre per year. That's 500 times faster than replacement. The math is clear. Rich topsoil is finite. Fact 7. Lake Calumet in Chicago is heavily polluted. Industrial waste accumulated there for over a century. Heavy metals, chemicals, petroleum products. The sediment contains contaminants. The lake sits near residential areas. Cleanup efforts continue. Fact 6. Illinois has over 1,100 miles of navigable waterways. The Mississippi, Illinois, and Ohio rivers. Massive cargo volume moves through these rivers, critical for Midwest agriculture and industry. Fact 5. Ice Age deposits in central Illinois reach 400 feet deep. That's how far down you dig to hit bedrock. 4 football fields stacked vertically, all ground-up rock left by glaciers. Massive ice sheets pulverized it. Fact 4. Parts of Chicago are subsiding. The city's weight compresses clay layers underneath. Skyscrapers add pressure. Some areas sink slowly, measurable with modern GPS technology. Fact 3. The Mississippi River floods frequently. Some towns have relocated entirely. Valmeyer moved in 1993 after the Great Flood destroyed the original site. They rebuilt on higher ground, 300 feet higher. The old town site remains an empty floodplain. Fact 2. Chicago made its river flow backward. The river water goes to the Gulf of Mexico. The water has stuff in it that feeds algae. Farms also send fertilizer into the water. All this causes a huge dead zone in the Gulf. Dead zone equals no fish or sea animals can live there. Many states cause this problem, not just Chicago. Fact 1. Illinois sits on the New Madrid seismic zone, the most active earthquake area in the central U.S. The zone produced major earthquakes in 1811 to 1812. Scientists estimate a 25 to 40% chance of a magnitude 6 or higher earthquake by 2050. When it hits, damage could reach 15 states, including all of Illinois. Most buildings in Illinois aren't designed for major earthquakes. Infrastructure isn't earthquake resistant. The Midwest doesn't prioritize earthquake preparedness, but the fault zone is there, active. Building stress, Illinois, sits directly above it.
If you enjoyed the video, subscribe. This is Glore.